we watch the entire session. And as creative arts analysts and stakeholders, we're here to analyze, review, digest, dissect the vetting right here on the show. Let me say hi to my guests. It's been a while, Uncle Ken. Happy to see you. Uncle Ken, you run away from us.
I did what?
You run away from us.
I didn't. I went on vacation.
Vacation?
Yes, and I deserve a vacation. Or you don't think I deserve a vacation?
You deserve vacation, staycation, vacation.
Whatever. Staycation, education, and all the shins. Yeah. Let me first of all say a very happy new year to the listeners out there. Because while I was on vacation, I got a lot of messages.
Yeah, they were asking,
from a lot of them, asking where I was. And I appreciate that, but I needed my peace, from all the hustle bustle in town, and I went and had my peace, and there's something I came back with that I want to share with listeners.
Okay, let's hear you.
In my peaceful domain, I was reading, I was watching, I was observing, but I didn't judge. Okay? And there's something I came up with which I felt was apt with my feelings and where I was at a particular time. All it said was, remember to learn to be happy alone. So when someone does come along, you recognize if they are adding value or taking away your peace.
This is deep.
Yeah.
Again, remember.
Remember to learn to be happy alone. Now, that is crucial for me because I'm always happy alone. To the extent that sometimes I become so happy, I don't want anybody to come and worry me. Do you know what I mean?
Distract your happiness.
I do not want distractions when I'm happy by being alone. So he says, remember to learn to be happy alone. So when someone does come along, you recognize if they are adding value or taking away your peace.
I love it.
Me too.
Now they are sending me what?
Kwame, when I saw this, I said, look, let me keep this and let it be my message to listeners when I come back on the show.
This will be my watchword. Like every morning, I will read it.
Because it's important to love your own company. Because if you don't love your own company, you won't love anybody else.
Exactly.
You always have negative energy about other people. And my New Year resolution is I don't really carry a lot of it, but do away with negative energy.
All right.
And accentuate the positive.
Brilliant.
Because it is the positive that will help us make headway. Not always wallowing in negativity, reminding of ourselves of how bad we are, how hopeless the situation is. And we love doing that. And it does not help our development. So I'm glad to be back. I'm glad particularly to see the Dawn.
Yeah.
GH
Media Group.
It's been a long time. It's been a long time, but I am always comforted in the fact that he listens to my music shows. Because he sends me messages while I'm on air.
I do.
On my music shows. So I know Francis is there for me.
Yeah.
And Robert, I've been listening. This young gentleman here is somebody I admire so much.
Yes.
We've had him on this show a few times.
Yeah.
And each time he's been here, I've loved him the more.
Yeah.
Because he's so deep himself.
Very deep. Very deep.
you know. Cafe.
Cafe on.
I nearly said it.
Cafe on.
Robert, it's good to see you too. Happy New Year to all of
happy
you.
returns.
And to our producer.
Oh yes.
He
Onupa.
didn't send me any New Year message, oh.
No, he told me he was waiting for you to come with
I
some
see.
presents. So
Anita sent me a message Christmas and New Year. Anita is the only one.
Menu.
I'm sure it was Philip who I said to send it. On behalf of the team.
Also Anita there, she's my darling. So you know, me and her. And Oliver, what people don't know, Oliver helps me with production on my shows.
On your shows.
Okay.
Olivier Fangren.
Yes, he's a wonderful human being too. And I love the ball.
Chap. Yeah.
So I'm glad to be back, and we'll delve into the issues.
And good to have you back.
Yeah.
Okay. Now let me introduce to you. He is the founder or CEO of Ghana Dance Awards and Festival. Robert Clark. Yeah. Oh, there's a plaque here.
Oh yeah, there's a plaque. The plaque is actually ready.
Okay.
I went for the sample, and I'm loving every part of it.
But we're having the award 1st February.
So we had an issue with the 1st, so it's moved to the 8th.
Okay.
So right now everything is National Theatre 8th of February.
Of
And it's
February.
happening.
Oh.
Yeah. So this is a plaque if you want to understand.
Ghana
what
Dance Awards and Festival. Or
Ghana
festival.
Dance Industry Awards.
Industry Awards.
Industry.
Yes,
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Okay.
So this is the plaque. You see at the top is the Azonto representing the modern, and obviously the hand there.
Why didn't you use
Victory.
Uncle Francis's type of dance to do your?
No,
He doesn't know.
no.
So,
Should I send you a video?
Maybe you can send, but I've seen the other types of dance he does. That one wouldn't work for the plaque. Yeah.
Or less it's Bills.
or Giovanni.
Yeah. So that's Azonto sitting on the djembe drum, basically. So the drums being responsible for African culture,
Okay.
representing the two. And on the drums, you can see 10 Idinkra symbols. Each one of them representing something that attributes to you being a star with respect to be a dancer. So durability, the factor of
There's
God,
Dinyame in it.
everything is in there. So
Sankofa is
basically,
not there.
There are 10.
Hey, there are some on the other side.
Yeah,
Okay.
there's some at the back, and then the star in the middle is representing you, climbing to the top, and therefore you deserve to win that
I
award.
think this is beautiful.
Yeah, I'm loving this. Yes. So the film
8th February.
8th
National Theatre.
National Theatre,
Time 7 p.m.
7 p.m. Yes, gates will open at 6:30. 7 p.m.
Do we have
we'll
some
start
people
our red
performing?
carpet.
Dancers, musicians.
Oh yes. We have a lot of dancers performing. A few of the musicians will come through, but a lot of the dancers are performing from DWP to Noyam. We have.
Are we going to have some of the
militants.
older dancers perform?
I'm engaging them. We have 2 weeks to go, so let's see.
Like Slim Basta and Ajete So.
Yeah.
So I will be there. And 1989 dance
Reggie
champion will also
Rockstone.
be there. Reggie, obviously, invitation is also going out to him. I haven't spoken to him, but I know, eventually
Party.
they'll come through. Party is not in Ghana.
Okay.
But the squad will be there. Yes, essentially.
All right. Uncle Francis Doku, CEO of Plugin Digital
Since we
Media.
are sharing quotes, let me also share my quote. My quote for the year.
You have a quote?
I have a quote.
A quote or a quote? Okay. Let's
Depends
hear
on
you.
which part of the English
you're
you're
coming
speaking,
from.
but
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so mine is for it's for me to move from being a noun to being a verb.
A verb. A doing word.
So become a doing being.
Yeah.
You understand?
Right,
Not just
right.
So taking more action and ensuring that because there are so many ideas floating, so many things we talk about, and honestly, you finish a year and you're asking yourself, how many of these things have
Exactly.
I accomplished?
Yeah.
And the reason why they've not been accomplished is because you didn't do much about them. They say that if you want to find excuses, you can find excuses for everything, even the reason why you're succeeding or failing, you can find excuses for it. So
Sure.
basically, if you become a doing verb,
Doing word.
then Charlie, you're fine.
So you start from being a noun, but you should move.
I'm a noun. Like I start off, so
But you should move.
That's
Kwame,
it.
what is a noun? A naming word.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Now you know English. You.
Small. I know small.
Oh, you know
I
plenty.
learned from Uncle Francis Doku.
You know plenty.
and Robert Clark.
And then verb is a doing word.
Yes.
So we are becoming a doing being.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Robert Clark. Let me go to Francis Doku, COO, Plugin Digital Limited. I got it. Uncle Francis.
Digital Plugin Limited.
Digital Plugin Limited.
DPO.
So the plugin is in the middle. I've been saying it wrong all this way. He never corrected me.
One can year
Manual from Basa. Oh.
But it's all good.
Yeah, we're back.
Yeah, we're back. I don't have a coat.
What do you have? What do you have?
Okay, I have something from scripture.
A jacket?
From Basso, Uncle.
Presbyterian.
Yeah, you know.
Yes.
A
true
singing by
Presbyterian.
people's songs say that. Ejume biya ori ya no.
Oh.
Fiakra mu ye. Ye no senia wo ye merade na unye manipa.
Na
Exactly.
to nyom no mayentie.
Ejume biya amu ye no. Mo fiakra mu nye. Yenu se wuye me wurade na wunye manipa.
This will trend, pa. This will trend.
See.
Kwame, the Presbyterian hymns.
Yes.
If you listen well to the lyrics,
Yeah,
they always give advice.
Yeah.
absolutely. That's true. That's true.
Presby nyum ye del chenyum man ne mepan nyum. Let's go on Zoom and say hi to Austin Wood in the UK. Austin.
Good afternoon, Kwame. Good afternoon to Uncle Ken, to Robert, to Francis, and everyone who's joined us today for the show.
Don't you have a quote?
I think I will subscribe to the quote of Uncle Ken because he's coming back, and I believe in what he just said about happy when you are with yourself. I think nobody would make you happy if you yourself cannot make yourself happy. So from everything he said on his comeback, that particular one was very striking, and it's something I would want to live by.
Great one there, Austin Wood. So let's go straight to the point. On Wednesday, Honorable Abla Dzifa Gomashie was vetted by the Appointment Committee in Parliament, and we're going to do a review of the entire session. Yeah, here on Joy 99.7 FM. If you have anything to tell us, you can just send us a message 0551111 That is the WhatsApp number. Yeah. Now, before we even take it step by step, we have pointers, about 8 or 10 of them. I'll take your general assessment without going into detail. Okay. So let me start with you, Uncle Francis Doku. Your general assessment of the whole session, the vetting.
I think it's appropriate once again to commend Madam Abla Dzifa Gomashie. I think a couple of weeks ago we were here to talk about the possible people who will be nominated. Last week we were here to also assess the fact that she had been nominated and what would happen if she goes to the vetting. And yesterday the president swore her in after the vetting. So it's in order to congratulate her as the substantive minister now for the Ministry of Tourism, Culture and Creative Arts, and we wish that she does well. But coming to your question, in terms of the vetting, I think we all know that this is the season of vetting. So it's not only tourism and our ministry that was vetted. There were also others who were vetted during the week and the last week. And for now, a few or majority of those who have been vetted have been sworn in as ministers, and they'll take their role. So I think generally I felt that Madam Abla could have done better than she did at the vetting. I think some of the questions that were asked, she answered very well, but there were some that were a bit iffy, if you like, that I felt that maybe if she had gotten herself into the thing better, she would have done a good job in response to the question. One that stood out for me was the question that was asked by the minority leader, Honorable Fenyumaking, about whether the funds, the creative art funds, where she thought she should, talk about where the money was going to come from into that fund, because she mentioned that the fund will be implemented. And I thought maybe going into the vetting should have looked at some areas where the funding will come from. I think her response was to speak with the finance minister, and look at areas where the funds would come from. There's a law that had been passed, and in that law, the various areas in terms of revenue into the fund had been mentioned. And so I felt that if she had maybe, done a bit well in that area, perhaps the response would have been better. She didn't want to give assurance directly, but I believe that as the person who's going to manage that ministry, maybe she could have gone in knowing very well some of the areas where those funds will come from. I like the fact that she mentioned, for instance, that she would want to consult, people, different people. She mentioned consulting the minority leader and looking at where, they could get funding and all that. But I think that as the minister designate, and, because she's going to be the person who will be, she could have, come a bit more prepared in that particular area. On the issues of tourism, I think that there was not much conversation or questions from the panel on where she was going to look at numbers coming from, or they didn't quite ask.
Uncle Francis, so that we don't make our preambles, the entire discussion, let's rather go straight into the specifics. You mentioned Creative Art Fund, for example.
Yes.
I wish we listened to what she said with regards to that, so we start from there.
Okay, all right, sure.
All right. So Joy 99.7 FM Showbiz A to Z, we are analyzing Honorable Abla Dzifa Gomashie's vetting, which took place on Wednesday, and a question about the Creative Art Fund, which is in their manifesto, was asked, and this was how she answered it.
The Creative Art Fund to provide sustainable financial support for startups and for ailing large, medium, and small creative enterprises. So let's stay on to provide sustainable financial support. How does your party seek to achieve this? How does it intend to achieve this now that you are going to be the main implementer of the policy?
So, from the experience of the NDC when we were in government under, shall I say, President John Dramani Mahama I, we had a fund for the sector. I think that to sustain it, domains will have to assess the fund and make it a revolving one. So whatever you want to champion with the fund that you assess, you should be able to make it have a turnover that is returned for other people to come and also benefit from it.
Good. You see, Honorable, this is an important thing that I want us to take note. You realize that a lot of times these supports come as a social intervention support, and people take it, access it, and will not want to pay back. If you want to pursue, they will remind you of their votes. Let's face reality. Are you sure that practically you can get people to pay back? Are you sure?
I think that we can work at it. Do we have opportunity to recover everything? Probably not, but we could try, because it's the same with, the financial sector. People borrow money from the banks. Do they always pay? They don't always pay, but some do pay. So we have to put in mechanisms that encourage people to return it and probably get reward for that. So I'm sure that the examples abound in other sectors that we can learn from. How do the banks do it? We can pick from that and leave out of their books and make it work in our case. Thank you.
So this fund, this creative art fund that you are going to revive, how would you fund it? With your government promising a repeal of the e-levy tax, repealing even taxes at our ports, taking away COVID levy, doing away with a lot of taxes, that is one key promise of your government, to do away with a lot of taxes. Now, this fund would have to be funded. Going there, with the benefit of the manifesto, how is it going to be funded?
Mr. Chairman, I think that the history is there that funding for sectors don't always come from GOG only. It is the reason why we sought to ratify some conventions from UNESCO, so that it gives us opportunity to tap into the resources that they have as well. So it's not necessarily just GOG. Chances are you're very resourceful. Chances are even you can say that you will take a certain part of our domains and support us with funding, which can be used. But I'll hesitate to agree with you that it's only GOG that is capable of funding, giving us funding for this project. So we are open to the experiences that we have garnered over the years to see how this works. Thank you.
Honorable Nominee, you see, there are many creative arts Ghanaians watching, listening, okay? They are looking forward to a sustainable source of funding for their survival. I have a lot of these guys in my constituency. You have a lot of them in your constituency. We have a lot of creative arts Ghanaians who are suffering. Now, for you to say that you are going to revive the fund should suggest that you know the status of the fund. Are you able to tell us the status of this fund that you are going to revive?
I am unable to, considering that it's been 8 years. I do not know where we stand with that, but it's one of the things that I have to do as soon as possible to see where it is and where we can take it from here. Thank you.
Can I suggest to you that the best way to sustain this and to make it active, to benefit the industry, will be to ensure a levy that will regularly feed into the fund?
Yes, we do have the tourism levy. It is possible that we can probably add on, but I'll hasten cautiously and rely only on what we already have and see how we work around it and perhaps move forward with it. Thank you.
Can you assure the nation of some timelines? Because you know how our constituents, our citizens, especially the youth, when we make promises to them in our manifesto, on campaign platforms, when we come into office, they become expectant, and legitimately so. What time frame can you give?
It is for that same reason that I would plead with you not to ask me to give you a time frame. You and I know that our youth are hungry. And when you're not careful, when you make promises that you are not sure of, you set yourself up for failure. What I can assure the youth of this country is that His Excellency John Dramani Mahama has indicated his desire to create opportunities for them to thrive, and in so doing, help us build a strong economy for our country. I will put my shoulders to the wheel and assist him to achieve that. Thank you.
All right, so that is the voice of Honorable Abla Dzifa Gomashie answering to a question on how to fund the Creative Art Fund. In the NDC manifesto, it's been stated that they will revive the Creative Art Fund, but we don't have a fund yet. So how do you revive a fund that is not there at all? All right, let me come back to you again, Francis Doku. This is Honorable Abla Dzifa Gomashie's submission on the Creative Art Fund. Again, were you impressed with that?
Again, like I was saying, I had hoped that her responses would be a bit more positive in terms of where exactly, because I believe that some work has been done, leading to the election, and why the manifesto said that they revive the Creative Arts Fund. And so there must be conversations about where the money is going to come from. And so at the vetting, I had hoped that that will come out very strongly. But that notwithstanding, she also noted that she would consult, as I was saying before we went to play, that she will consult when she gets to office. And I believe now that she's been confirmed as the minister, she'll go into office first thing, I believe, on Monday, and then assess all the things that are within her domain as the Minister of Tourism, Culture. And this, I believe, will be one of the key areas to look at. The promise is that the fund will be implemented, and so everybody will look at that. I think she even asked the committee through the chairman that they give her time to come back, to report on some of the things that we're asking. I believe this will be the first one too. And so even though I felt that there must be a bit more positive response, given what may have gone into the discussions before that was put in the manifesto, I think it's just good to give her the benefit of the doubt, as she said, that she would consult, she would look at the areas, and so when she goes into office, time will come very soon, and we'll find out if she really has had a grasp of where this is going to come from, because it's a promise and it must be implemented.
Were you surprised that it had to take a Fenyo Mark in Honorable to suggest a levy to her, when in fact it's been enshrined in the Act 1048 that there is a component of a fund, 1% fund, which will be paid by enterprises in the creative industry? Were you surprised by that?
I wasn't surprised, really, because I mean, the fact is that she should have known, because she was going for vetting. She should have priced herself with all the possible scenarios of things that will be asked. But the fact is that you don't know all the questions that will be asked. You might focus on some areas, and some of those areas may not even be asked. But I must commend also the panel in terms of some of the questions. Some of the questions that were asked were very important. I'll pick the Honorable Minority Leader, and then also the MP for Kankwe Central, Honorable Patrick Boama. He asked very direct and very important questions of the sector. So some of the questions you would have direct.
Do you think he must have learnt from Sadiq?
I think he
did his research very well.
He's a 3-term parliamentarian, and I think he also said that most of what he learned was from the report, the report from the GTA,
2023 report
that was released in 2023, first quarter of 2024 for 2023. So he apprised himself very well. I mean, I think that comes to the fact that if you're going as the person to be interviewed or vetted, or the person who will be on a committee to vet. You need to apprise yourself very well with the area where the issues are going to come from. So even though you may not be able to have grasp of all the key ones, I think some basic ones you need to. So I wasn't really surprised because she couldn't have answered everything. But I think that for this particular one, it could have been better. So let's give her the benefit of the doubt. Let her go to the ministry. Let's give her that time that she asked the committee that she will come back to, and let's see what happens. Okay,
thank you, Francis Doku. Robert Clark.
Yes.
Honorable on Creative Arts Fund.
Yeah. I think that there was a part of the. So first of all, let me say that with respect to the sessions, there was a point. It was a beautiful experience watching what we watched. At some point, I was asking myself questions about why certain questions were being asked. I thought they were probably not needed or not connected, and I was thinking about it, and I had conversations with friends, and then they pointed out that some of these questions are necessary, even though not connected, just to be able to elicit the person's temperament, to see how you respond to some of these issues. Because then again, it just makes you appreciate who the person is, because you're not just interested in whether you can do the work, you're also interested in the person's composure, and the other elements that makes the person who the person is. So it later brought everything home, and it made me appreciate the entire experience, because there were hard-on questions that were also asked in specific areas, so arts, tourism, etc., etc. So yeah, so I must say it was a good platform for learning. With respect to the levy, I think that there was a point in the conversation or in the interview where she mentioned clearly that she didn't have a lot of knowledge about the manifesto, but even though she was part of the team, that she had been to a few meetings, and then she wasn't actively.
But she said she was on the page.
Yeah, she was on the page, so she's read. But again, obviously being part
Would you
of
take that as an excuse?
No, not excuse, but I'll take it as an honest feedback.
Yes.
So
very honest. Yeah.
Yes, and so immediately she mentioned she was going to be consultative. For me, it just meant that, okay, so what it means is if you have a mandate and you clearly admit that the knowledge doesn't sit with only you, it means that you have to learn to collaborate and you have to learn to consult. And that simply means that we are going to have a ministry that has an outlook of working with people to be able to achieve the goals that we've set out to do. And as a matter of fact, when they also asked the question about her timing with, managing her time with respect to MP and then doing this job, I realized it was even more critical, because Charlie, the work we have is a bit heavy. And so she having the mind that she's going to consult, she's going to work with people in the first place, it's like one of the good starts, good way to think and to be able to begin, because without that, there's no way you're going to achieve much. So that's it for me on that particular regard.
What do you make of her answer to how they make sure they retrieve the funds they give to people?
For me, the heart of it is the fact that if that is how, what I'm hearing is that if that's how we want to go, then at the end of the day, we have to learn from how the banks are working. So there are lessons, there are best practices in these fields that we should be able to learn from. And obviously things like this are going to be executed with some deliberations. You put together a team of experts and you'll be able to get feedback. I am interested in that kind of funding going to the business leg of the creative economy. Because if you look at the question that the minority leader asked about people paying back the money, usually when it goes out directly to the individuals, then it feels more like social intervention to a set of people. But if it should go to the business entities, then you
the
are
enterprises within the industry.
Exactly, the enterprises within the creative industry that should be able to engineer some economic activity. These are folks who are consistently paying their taxes. These are entities that are there for
They
the
will pay the
purposes of-
1%
Exactly.
levy.
And these are people you can find negotiations or conversations about how you can establish payback periods and whatsoever. So I think that if it's channeled in that particular space, and certainly would help. Then if they want to be able to throw the money into the system, there's a support side of the creative economy, which are basically things that we cannot do for ourselves. And those are the things that people need. So for example, I can't build for myself a national theater. So if the government is able to do that, that helps. You understand? I'm unable to drop down the value of data. If the government steps in place and finds a way to, subsidize data, I don't know, whatever it is, but there are things we can't do for ourselves, which are at the macro level. If the government is able to step in the space and help these things be done, then it makes it easier. There are road constructions to sites for tourism. We can't construct the roads. So these are things that we want the government to be able to do, in that particular field. So that's just to speak to the issue.
Okay, thank you, Robert Clark. Let me go to Uncle Ken.
Yeah. Kwame,
Uncle Ken.
I got a call from your producer,
Yes.
Onukbanai, to tell me that this is a matter we were going to discuss today. He didn't even know where I was or what I was doing. But he said to me, he ordered me
To come.
not to come alone, to make sure I listen to.
The entire session.
Thank you.
If you hadn't.
No, it had not happened yet.
Oh,
He gave
okay,
me
okay.
advance notice. Onukpa Philip gave me advance notice that, look, this is what we are going to discuss on Saturday. So make sure you listen. So I said to him, but Oleriyo. But I have to obey my producer. So I said, okay, Mabutwe, So I listened. I made sure it was an exercise that I loved doing. To be honest with you, So I tuned in and I listened to Dzifa's Honorable Dzifa's, the Honorable Member of Parliament for Ketu. Is it South?
Yes.
Yes,
Ketu
for Ketu
South.
South. Abla Dzifa Gomashie. I listened to her, and my first impression after a while was that this is very pali-pali. And when I say pali-pali,
Yes.
I mean that parliamentarians were doing their own thing. Because she's a parliamentarian. When it got to the point where she paid tribute to the minority leader, saying that the minority leader is one of the people in parliament who's made her stay in parliament so enjoyable by him being so nice with her and helping her settle. I said, hey, Yawurade. And this is the same person posing
Was
questions.
it patronizing?
Kwame. But did you see her reaction?
Yes.
But I think sorry, I just thought
Yeah,
Kwame
Kwame.
King's response was apt also. So
Oh, of course.
said as
He did not deny it.
as a leader of
Yes.
Yes.
he was responsible for making sure
Exactly.
everybody
That
is
all
involved.
those new
But
entrants.
that
and-
aside,
Yeah.
this is the business that we are here to do.
No.
Exactly. Thank you, Francis. Yes, because he did. It was nice to know. But even Patrick Boama, who asked
Yeah.
good questions, when he was asking the questions, and you looked at his demeanor and the way he was referring to the nominee, you realize that he was referring to a nominee that he liked. He did not disguise it. I watched his demeanor very carefully, And he was smiling in his questions. And the way he even went on to mention her name showed that he was mentioning the name of somebody he likes.
In a pale manner.
Yes. That's why I'm saying they were very pally. And people have come out to say that when the nominee is a member of parliament, the parliamentarians there who form the committee always lean towards helping their fellow parliamentarian, even with the questions they ask. And this brought me to a point where I heard, and I can't quote who I heard, but somebody I heard on the radio said that when it comes to these committees for vetting, they think that the best thing that should be done is to seek for people in the particular industry where the nominee is going to be part of the committee to vet the nominee. Because the parliamentarians, all of them do not know about our industry. The people
Is it
on
all
the
of
committee,
them?
no,
Some
I'm
of
saying
them?
most of them
Okay.
on the committee do not know about an industry, and so do not have any contributions to make.
Okay, can I make a small point there?
Good.
I think, I mean, it's a good point, but I think that the job of Parliament is a job of Parliament. I mean, it's a responsibility of Parliament to vet the President's nominee and either approve them or not.
Or not.
I
Okay.
think it's also the reason sometimes or all the time Parliament requests memos from the public. That if you have anything
Valid point. Yeah.
you know, anything to say, send it
Yeah.
to Parliament so
Okay.
that we can ask. If you have any questions, any contributions,
Yeah.
we can ask
Francis,
those.
thank you.
Yeah.
You've resolved my matter for me.
Sure.
But from what I saw about the vetting of Honorable Dzifa,
Abla,
Gomashie,
yeah.
it looked like very few of them
We're interested.
were interested in the questions about our industry. Do you understand where I'm coming from? Yeah. So I found it interesting in that regard. And then I also felt that one of the crucial points that came out of this thing with you, Kwame, and various people I've heard ever since the
vetting was done.
was done is the fact that Dzifa, I'm so close, I just love that woman, so I call her Dzifa.
You're being pari.
Yeah, I'm also being pali.
This one is friendly.
Francis, you know, I love Dzifa so much. Yeah. I think I heard you, Kwame Dadzie,
Yeah.
pose a question
Okay.
on Joy Prime.
Okay.
with,
Yesterday.
Yesterday.
Yes.
With
Kojo Preko Dankwa.
Kojo, the
KMJ,
host,
KMJ.
KMJ.
Yeah.
And you said that you think that Dzifa, after they left office in 2016
17.
or 17, yeah, they left office in 2016, or let's say 17.
January 2017.
They left office in January 2017. Distanced herself from the sector because
possibly.
she yes, manual from
Enya she.
she
One kind of year cry.
mankani.
Where the any basa basa.
She was so consumed with her constituency work that she distanced herself a bit from this industry. And you could tell that by some of the answers she gave at the vetting. Something that shocked me the most was when she said that she was a member of the NDC policy committee.
Manifesto committee. Yeah.
Committee. But she wasn't active. and she relied on
Reports.
the WhatsApp page that they had. Why
The
do
reports on the page.
the reports on the page? Why do you think that happened? That happened because Dzifa spent most of her time in her constituency.
She was campaigning.
Yes. The most important thing was for her to get back to Parliament. And that brings the point about whether, if you have a member of Parliament, and you see why Afemo Making spent some time on her constituency matters,
Yeah.
because then he wanted to find out that, is your constituency work going to affect
Your work as a minister.
your work as a minister of this sector?
Or vice versa.
Or
vice versa.
And if your constituency work is going to affect, are you going to be able to push in a lot of your constituency people into your sector to satisfy them? Afenyo Markin spent a lot of time
The
on that
constituency.
angle
Yeah.
with her. And I was intrigued and captivated with what was happening there. I would not for 1 minute doubt Dzifa's capabilities, because I mean she's been there before. But narrowing now to your point about the fund,
Yes. Creative Art Fund.
yes,
We are here.
I was
We are home.
Francis Udoku. You haven't changed.
He will never change.
Francis Udoku hasn't changed.
The options available are just not pleasing.
He has not changed.
There are no options.
There are no options.
Yeah, there are no options. Yeah.
Francis Udoku has not changed.
I'm sorry.
And again to the fund.
And every time I meet Francis, my mind goes back to Nana Texas.
Oh.
Because me and Francis and Nana Texas
Yeah.
Oh, it was fun.
on this show, it was
Yeah.
fun. You know, so fun. And your producer tells me that this year we're going to go back
Yes.
to look at the show
Yeah.
while we celebrate
All
30
the
years.
Eddie Kanfu no buying.
Yes, it will be lovely. It will be lovely to do that. I was Kwame, on your show yesterday. You, not your show,
Joy Pride.
KMG's show
Yeah.
on Joy Pride.
Yeah.
You mentioned the point about the narrative that there was a fund. There was supposed to have been a creative arts fund from the NDC era
Yeah.
that people could tap into,
Yeah.
and that fund somehow got lost in the past 8 years. You pointed out to KMG and Kojo Preku Dankwa on your show that there was no such fund.
There wasn't a creative art
There
fund.
was not a creative arts
There was a
fund.
fund from Culture Forum given to the
It was not a
council.
fund. There
then.
was monies
Okay.
given to Cultural Forum.
Yes.
However, that those monies were found to be given to them
Yeah.
is another matter.
True.
But it was not through a creative arts fund.
Agreed.
Because at the time the monies were given to the Cultural Forum, there was no creative arts law.
Agencies.
There was no law. It was a council then.
Yes,
the
it
law
was
was
a council,
passed
and the law was passed in
2020.
2020.
Yeah.
1048 was passed
Yeah.
in 2020.
December 2020.
In 2020.
18 December.
Yes. So, that made me feel a bit sad that the narrative was being created that there was a fund that was going to be revived.
Can
Because-
I read something
Please.
just to support this?
Okay, same point, right?
So yes. I'm reading 1048, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it says that this was passed in 2020.
Yes.
Which means that it's supposed to have had some backing from now, right?
Yes.
From that time.
From
or
who?
we need an LI for it to.
No, it was
No,
a law.
It's a law now.
All right. So this is what this one says. It established creative arts agency Creative Arts Industry Fund. Establishment of the Creative Arts Industry Fund. 22 days. There is established by this act the Creative Arts Industry Fund. Objects of the fund. The object of the fund is to provide funding for projects and programs in the creative arts industry, and in particular, it lists about 9 of them. So creative arts industry productions and exhibitions, research and development initiatives, professional development and skills training, documentation and preservation activities, publications, development of innovations, initiation and sustainable projects, etc., etc. Any other materials determined by the board in furtherance and of the objectives of the agency. Then it goes to sources of monies for the fund. Then it says that the sources of the money for the fund comprise monies approved by Parliament.
And grants and loans.
Then B, grants and loans.
Loans, yeah.
Then C, 1% levy on revenue realized from the
products.
sale
of
of products from the creative arts industry.
So
Then
question
periodic
is,
contributions
which products
determined
are
by the
those?
board and paid. Then D, into the fund by practitioners and operators in the creative arts industry domain. Then other sources of funding determined by the board. Then there is management of the funding, and then there's eligibility criteria, which actually spells out who is eligible
And that's
to be
important.
able to, you know.
That's
all of
important.
Very, very important.
The legitimate. And I don't know, baby.
And
I drama.
So in the
eligibility
criteria, you want me to touch on it real quickly?
is
The person is
important.
eligible for a grant from the fund if that person is 1, a creative arts practitioner or a creative arts industry operator in the creative arts industry domain, or 2, an organization or a domain association that is recognized by the board and duly registered with the Registrar General's Department. Then we have applications for grants, etc.
Right,
etc.
how you apply,
Good.
who approves your application, and what the money is granted you. So you see, Kwame,
Yeah.
if you do not know what is in a law, and you sit outside somewhere and make certain pronouncements that are not in the law, which we are wont to do as an industry. A lot of people make comments without any, yes, to the law, knowledge to the law. It goes to show you what can happen if you are not careful, and people get overly excited and that is why I liked the Honorable's composure when she was pushed to give timelines. I was so happy with her answers on the timelines that the minority leader sought to push.
Yeah.
Same here.
And
Yeah.
yes,
Same here.
I was so happy because she stood firm and told him that, listen, there are young people out there. They're hungry. They're looking for things. If I sit on this platform and I give them timelines to something do not know how it can happen because I have not been in the industry yet, in the position yet, I can't do that. I clapped for her. On the several occasions, the minority leader tried to push her to give timelines because you can't give timelines.
Yeah.
You can't give timelines. You know something else that caught my attention, Kwame, which I was wondering. I don't know what any of you here.
Which one was that?
You remember the minority leader? For me.
Okay.
Oh, let me finish this.
Okay, finish it. Finish
The
it.
minority leader
Yes.
pushed her on the road minister
Yeah.
sorting out roads in her constituency. The impression I got from the way the minority leader was going on
Yeah.
was that maybe our honorable was not on good terms with the roads minister.
That was the impression you had?
Because the way that's why I'm asking whether any of you actually noticed it.
We didn't pay attention to
my
that.
interpretation of the mischief was perhaps trying to say that he will focus more on the Volta region to build to do their roads to the detriment of other areas. So he focused on that and
Yeah,
kept
but
pushing
Dzifa
her.
said that she cannot do it by herself and will need the minority leader's support. That's why I got confused. He says, you are the one who can help me achieve this from the road.
I like how Uncle Ken is thinking, though.
And the minority leader told her,
I think Uncle Ken is overthinking it.
no, I'm not overthinking. And the minority leader told her that, but you are in government.
And you both come from the...
And you both come from the Volta region.
Hence your suspicion.
Hence my suspicion
Okay.
that there could be a little issue. I hope there isn't.
Okay.
But I'm just being too drunken.
Thank you, Uncle Ken. Join 99.7 FM Showbiz A to Z. We having doing a review of the highlights of Honorable Abla Dzifa Gomashi's vetting, which happened on Wednesday. Let me go on Zoom now and talk to Austin, the controversial Wood. Austin Wood.
Yeah, Kwame.
Yes. So on the Creative Art Fund bid, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So, what is your impression, your assessment of Honorable's responses to the questions asked?
It was shocking, and I was left shocked and asked myself who we had nominated as a minister for our sector, and if indeed she appreciates the issues in our sector. And you see, timelines in this discussion is very, very important. The person we are talking about, aside being a deputy minister for this same ministry from 2013 to 2017 January, as Uncle Ken and Francis were saying, please bear in mind, she was also a member of parliament for 2021 to 2025. They just ended 8th parliament. And she is a member of that committee in parliament, which is the primus thing I would want to avert our minds to. She is a member of the committee. It is like Ablakwa being a member, ranking member on Foreign Affairs and asked about something and doesn't have any idea about it. Or Akando is asked about Agenda 111, being the ranking on health, and is all over the place. It was shocking for me. The things that Robert read, right? Who should know it best? Is it a former deputy minister who became MP and on that committee, or Robert Clark? Who should know it best? Is it Kwame Dadzie? It should be our minister. Now she's minister. So I was shocked at that. And you see, a lot of the questions the minority leader was giving her, they were leading questions. It's like even the minority leader had done background work and search in our ministry than our minister designate then. It was terrible showing on that particular question. And you see, what did she mean by we ask the banks how they are able to do it? Really? Because you see, before the executive or government decided to bring that law or pass it, discussions would have gone on at the committee level in parliament. They would have averted their minds to issues of Maslow, where party people go for this, where ordinary Ghanaians go for these soft loans and don't pay back. They would have averted their minds to the recent banking cleanup. Also, how non-performing loans in banks and what do we call it? These the deposit institutions, savings and loans, and what the Bank of Ghana puts in place so that non-performing loans, the percentage would reduce. So a question will come that we are creating a creative arts fund. When we give to these people, some would invest in a project where it will go bad. Some would not want to pay back. How do we recover and all that? Those things would have come up even on the floor of parliament, from the committee level to the floor before it is passed, the debate. All these things will come up. And if a former deputy minister has not followed to know the measures that would be put in place to recover these monies, if a member of parliament who is on the committee, same person, has not averted her minds to this, then I'm asking myself, what was she doing? Why has she been chosen? Why? Based on what? I think it goes beyond just competence. It is Article 78 which is causing this problem, 78.1. Because genuinely, we need more members of parliament to be ministers of state. And I was shocked at her response to that particular answer. I don't know if I could move to other.
Are you done with the creative arts fund?
Yeah,
bit?
I was shocked with it. I was terribly shocked with it. And you see, Robert just read something, and even how we can get money into the fund, it is known. Having an act passed by Parliament becoming law becomes a public document, and the minister in charge of it, somebody who is going to that ministry, doesn't know. So it took the minority leader to avert her mind. So you see, once the minority leader said that, can we create a levy? What should our minister have done? Should have said that, oh, in the law already, there is something about that, so we don't need to create another one. So if the minority leader got it wrong, and we have it in our law that we have something like that, a levy on these products, which we would use as part of the fund, who is supposed to correct the minority leader and even say, oh, even in the creative arts fund, the law that has been passed, the sources of funding, it already includes the thing you are saying we should source from. I'm shocked. Kwame, you see, I am shocked the minister did not know this. The minister designated.
Maybe she forgot.
Oh, you see, the things we do where we try to be diplomatic, political. How can she forget something like this? How? Sources of funding for creative arts fund. The minister of she forgot. Really? It's like the roads minister designate goals and sources of funding for road fund, which includes the tolls and all that. And then minister of road, who is ranking or maybe on the committee, forgot about it. Kwame, let's not do this. Let's not do that. You cannot forget something as basic as this. You cannot forget something as basic as this.
You know, sometimes in the heat of the moment, you might not, remember everything.
Did she even, when you listen to her views on creative arts fund, did it look like someone who appreciate the law which was passed and what it was supposed to do? Every question on creative arts fund, she did not know about it. So why are we saying that she forgot some part, like she answered other parts of that question about her knowledge on it? She did not. It is not just one thing.
Okay.
The sources of funding. Every question on creative arts fund, she did not know. You see, a classical example, the NBSSI question. It was the minority leader who said that they had changed it into something agency now. Why did it take the minority leader? I know that Uncle Ken, Francis, and Robert Clark, yourself, Kwame, everybody in the studio knows that in the Ghana case of Batampa, the money from COVID, which we distributed through NBSSI for the creatives, we know this. Why didn't our minister know? And the minority leader rather knew. Why are we letting her get away with this? Really? No, I don't get it. Everybody in this sector knows that because of COVID, the Ghana Cares of Batampa program that the finance minister took to parliament, there was a money that was given, I think 600 million to NBSSI. And creatives sourced some of these funds. The minority leader said it. Our minister did not know. So when she was deputy and she left the deputy ministerial position, she did work for the industry. What did she do? Did she gather information? Does she know where even we are? I'm shocked. It was terrible answers on that creative ass fund. I don't know if I can move
Austin, no, monsieur. Joe 99.7 FM, we're having a conversation on the vetting that took place on Wednesday for Honorable Abla Dzifa Gomashie in Parliament. Yeah, so let's move on to ecotourism. There was a question on that. Let's listen.
The biomes are depleted by bushfires, and recently the studies have established that Galamsey activities are also adversely impacting the nature-based tourism attraction sites. As an arrowhead for the ministry, what programs will you quickly implement to ensure that these attraction sites are not affected by such activities?
Thank you, Chairman. It's a matter that is worrying, considering that I come from the seaside, and you know what climate change and global warming has been doing to our communities along the beaches. So it is not only in the hinterland, but also our country as a whole. The ecotourism is what the world is driving towards, and it's important that we take advantage of it. It will interest you to know, Chairman, that one of the committees that have voluntarily joined is the Climate Change Committee, because I know that it is what can help my specific community. So I share in your concern. I think that education, we cannot leave it in the hands of one sector. All of us must be interested in keeping our country clean and promoting ecotourism, and also ourselves being ready to want to live in a clean and healthy environment. So it will be great to be able to work with the Ministry of Environment, Science and Technology, and also allied agencies to see how best we can do this together. I know that the World Bank invited me to a couple of meetings back in this, I think between 2013 and 2017, to discuss these things, and I'm willing to go back to them and see how we can take that up. So thank you.
All right, Joe 99.7 FM. So you just heard Honorable Abla Dzifa Gomashie speaking to a question on how Galamsey and other activities are affecting ecotourism. Starting with you, Uncle Ken.
Yeah, important question, if you ask me. And when I listened to this session, I said to myself, when I come here today, having been told that Francis was going to be here, I was going to leave all my issues with him to address. because as far as I know, Francis is the person when it comes to such matters.
You are speaking my mind, like you just took the words out of my mouth.
Yeah, honestly, that is what I said, to myself. When I listened to this, I said, I'm happy Francis Doku is going to be here this afternoon. Because me, ecotourism, then I mean, ecotourism. So I said to myself, I'm going to come here and I'll listen to Francis on this matter. So I learn.
Good.
Kwame.
Good.
pass on.
Robert, should I pass on?
Well, I think when you have somebody who's well vexed within the space,
yeah,
you should lead the conversation, and clearly, and especially because I want us to be able to you showed us a number of things you're supposed to be dealing with. So I think Kwame, Mr. Doku's submission, if there's anything we'd add to it. So
exactly.
Okay.
So I think it's important to acknowledge where we've been with ecotourism. I mean, Kwame, you recall sometime last year, and Uncle Ken, I think you were in the studio. We had a very big conversation around the Galamsey issues, how it's affecting the water bodies, and all that. And it's giving us very bad press outside. People see the stories online and they're wondering if they come to Ghana, what kind of experience will they have? Will they go to the riverside, the waterfalls, and all that? Those things that are natural, attractions. I think the Volta region, where the Honorable Minister comes from, is the leader in ecotourism. I mean, they have all the things that attract you to the river, the water body, the waterfalls, the beach, the very clean beaches, and all that. And so it was a very good question to ask her. I think what I didn't get is a plan, for that part of the tourism offerings that we have. I didn't think she gave a plan. Again, it came back to how she wants to, and I think, giving the response she gave, it was good that she gave that, but I didn't see a plan. She wants to have consultations with the likes of the ministries of environment. I think she also mentioned how she would deal with the district assemblies, and all that, because you need to really have one of the points she mentioned also was how we could have a policy that the district assemblies or the municipal assemblies will be responsible for some tourism in their areas. She said there should be a law that does that, and she will push for it. I think that would help how to properly land the tourism potential, ecotourism. In fact, even the Eastern Regional Minister designate when she came, she also mentioned that in her area, and I think she was very, very. She said all the things that you could talk about tourism, ecotourism in her area. She mentioned from the different parts of her region, where it ended, and all that. And so I think there's something that this minister mentioned that would be good in doing. Consulting with the different, maybe regional ministers, the district assemblies, and all that, and looking at having a plan, because it's important that we look at how to increase our arrivals or people coming in, going to those places. Even domestic tourism, we need to look at how to properly push that as well. And so her response about how she would consult with different, people or different agencies and ministries that are directly responsible for that, I think is a good one. But I think if she had come with a plan that this is what I'm going to do, and in addition to that, I'll consult for these areas, I think that would have been more appropriate.
Sorry, I just want to ask something.
Okay.
Yeah. So so it's more of a question. I'm just wondering. Strategy development, you need to have done a little bit of situational analysis to understand exactly what is on ground.
Yeah.
And then you are clear on where you want to go to, and then basically you plan how to get there, essentially. Would you think that, given the vastness of the space, that she's been able to fairly evaluate the situation of each of these facets that she's supposed to be managing? You understand? Because if she hasn't done that, then it becomes a bit difficult for her to be able to come to the place with a proper plan, which of course would have been vetted and can queried with certain specifics. So that's what I'm trying to understand.
I mean, perhaps not, but you see, and also at the vetting, you have very little, time to properly give a presentation of what you want to do. But my view is that because you're going to drive the vision, you must come with something. And of course, you're going to rally all the people to go into some, some brainstorm, and all that. But you have to lead them. You need to know what you want to do and lead them, so that when you have those conversations. I think last week when we were here, one of the key things that was mentioned by Kojo Prekon was that the first thing to do was to have a stakeholders meeting,
engagement,
and then properly decide what exactly he was talking from the creative arts perspective, but generally in terms of all the things
entire
that the
ministry
has to do, has to bring everybody together. But this is what I think that we have to do. Now, those meetings would finally, condense the things, the plans, the ideas, and put them into perspective. And so I'm just saying that I think her response that she would consult, the different agencies, ministries, and all that is a good one. But if she had come with something more and said that, okay, this is what I believe we'll do with ecotourism, but we'll engage and see how all will go, I think that would have been better, in my view.
All right. So, Austin. Hello, Austin. Okay, so on the issue of ecotourism, you have any submission?
Yeah, I'm very much interested in that. And I think that it was a brilliant question by now the majority chief whip, Roxin Dafiamepo. And Madam Dzifa Abla Gomashie answered it. I was okay with the answers. The challenge I find with some of these things is it looks like textbook knowledge. They are giving answers to questions at a hall so that you pass and go. Ask yourself, really, will that happen? Because you see, I want us to deal with certain data, and it will feed into why I think we should move beyond the rhetorics and answering of questions at the vetting. The World Economic Forum, Kwame, has a travel and tourism development index overall ranking. So it ranks tourism and travel development index of countries around the world, around 117. And in 2024, the ranking is out. The last one was in 2021, but they said they perfected some of the indices from 2021. So they believe that the 2024 one is a proper assessment of tourism locations around the country, around the world, and their ranking. And if you check, out of the 119 countries that this thorough thing was done by the World Economic Forum, Ghana was ranked 106 out of 119. We were ranked 106. So I saw this data and I said to myself, wow, I thought that Ghana, we had been putting it out there that we were the tourism destination, we're doing so well. How come out of 119 countries sourced for this data, we are 106? Even if you look at sub-Saharan Africa, we are number 9 in sub-Saharan Africa. But the strange thing is, the last 10 countries on this ranking are all in sub-Saharan Africa. So it means that once we are doing better than, everybody is also doing better than them. South Africa is number 1 in sub-Saharan Africa. Mauritius is number 2. Botswana is number 3. Kenya is number 4 at 77. Tanzania is at 81. Rwanda is at 93. Namibia is at 95. Zambia is at 104. And Ghana is at 106. Senegal 107. And our brothers Nigeria 112. But if you look at the World Economic Forum, what they used in coming out with this ranking, the tourism locations, the travel experience, and all that. One thing is very significant to this ecotourism, or the one Francis just spoke about, because they talked about travel and tourism resources dimension as one of the indices they used. And they talked about natural resources. And in the explanation of natural resources, the World Economic Forum says that this pillar measures the available natural capital as well as the development of outdoor tourism activities. Natural capital is defined in terms of landscape, natural parks, and the richness of the fauna. To an extent, this pillar captures how natural resources are promoted rather than the actual existing natural heritage of a country. And it's brilliant because in the question that Roxin Dafiame proposed, he talked about the challenges we are going to face with things like Galamsey. And if they are saying that it is not just having these natural resources like what we have talked about existing. But if you are not managing them well, it brings you down on the ranking. Also, they talked about the sustainability dimension, and in that, there is environmental sustainability. And it says this pillar measures the travel and tourism sector's energy sustainability and the general sustainability of an economy's natural environment and protection of natural resources. So you ask yourself, we would want to do this, but the effects of galamsey, you might have it, but the effects of illegal mining destroying our flora and fauna will bring us down. So when people who travel across the world, some come to Ghana, and their views are sourced for this data, which is about the best tourist areas you should visit, they might tell you that Ghana has beautiful flora and fauna. Their beaches are nice. When you're going to Kakum, is brilliant. When you're going here, but illegal mining is destroying this natural flora and fauna, and you are going to go down on the ranking. So I believe that it is not just about having this idea to develop it, but how to sustain it. As the World Economic Forum is saying, just having it is not enough. But what measures are you putting in place to sustain it? And so, even with this galamsey fight, it should not just be left to how we would get quality water from Ghana Water Company. The tourism ministry should be more involved in it, because then it would help raise us in the ranking, which would bring in more money. I believe it was a brilliant question. She answered it perfectly, but the person who put out the question, bringing in galamsey and all that, positioned us to say, this galamsey fight is not just about good, healthy drinking water. Ghana Water Company spending enough to treat our water, but in the area of tourism ministry, we should also get involved, because it affects how people perceive our flora and fauna when they come here and visit those places. And her answers were brilliant, but how we would implement these things is what I am looking at.
Thank you so much, Austin Wood. Still right here on Joe 99.7 FM. This is Showbiz A to Z, brought to you by MTN everywhere you go on Superstar Multi-Fruit Drink. We're still analyzing highlights of Honorable Abla Dzifa Gomashie's vetting. And just entered is my boss, Kwesi Ernest.
Yes, boss.
Artist manager.
This artist manager too.
Is it past?
No, it's not.
You don't manage.
I manage artists. I manage, but on a different level now.
Okay, which level is it now?
Yeah, it's fine. I'm the CEO of Media XL now.
Oh, I know. You've been since.
I prefer to be the chairman than the artist manager.
Chairman of Table of Men.
Now I'm training people to take that position.
Chairman of what? Table of Men?
No, I'm the chairman for the company. The chairman for my company.
Okay. but Table of Men, are you still alive?
Yeah, we are still alive.
Yeah, for Table in Soldier.
Oh, we are doing very well. We are doing very well underground.
All right.
We prefer. There were some kind of wolves that wants to,
devour.
So there'll be replacements. I mean, we'll be enrolling some new members as well. Yeah.
Can I join?
We'll look at what you've done in the past before.
It's Frankie 5 a member.
We don't want suspicious characters.
Thank you.
It's Frankie 5 a member.
Frankie 5, for now, no.
Nino.
Yeah, for now, no.
Okay.
And it's a conquer.
But you think that the table was me alone? No, it wasn't. We were strong guys.
Okay.
About this ecotourism.
Okay, you want to touch on that before?
I want to touch on it before.
Okay.
I've had the privilege of traveling to the rural areas, particularly where we have some nice tourist locations, like Manya Krobo, the Afram Plains, the Central Region, and all this. And what blows my mind is that the solution that the minister Madam Dzifa put on the table seems to be an ideal situation, the best, like what Uncle Francis said. But my challenge is with how that can be achieved. Because you see, we are hardcore Ghanaians, typical of believing in our traditions and what have you. For example, Kwame, one of these days we need to take camera and visit some of these sites.
Tourist sites.
This tourist site. That it will shock you that the way people are farming even close to some of these sites. So, and firewoods, some of the eco environment that you're supposed to see in some of these areas, like the Kakun Forest, like the Buti Falls, and all these places. I mean, there's one beautiful fall at in Sawam, Abri. When you go to Abri, the township, you take your left, and then you go. I mean, it's a beautiful waterfall. Jamaica. Yeah, I mean, beautiful waterfall is within there, inside Abri, and if you see the people, the patronage, heavy. But on your way to that place, the farming activity, the maize farm, the what do you call it, the plantation that around, like the community themselves don't even see the value. And for me, that comes to the question of the value. The community themselves, in terms of IGF, how much are they getting from their IGF in terms of what government is collecting from it to be as a morale, so that in case any minister brings out a law or a policy that this is the direction that we need to protect our eco-tourism or all these things, the people who are aligned to it and said, oh, we are getting ABCD, and for this reason, let's preserve our water bodies.
You mean the community should benefit from proceeds of the tourist sites in the vicinity? Is that what you're talking about?
This issue we are discussing, all of them belongs to the people. They are within the people. So if the thing is within my jurisdiction and I'm not getting nothing from it.
But the tourist sites would also need projects, development.
Yeah. But the fact that, you see, that's the reason why if you travel to most of the rural areas, development towards the tourist areas are all lacking. Roads are bad. See, go to Manyakrobo. Do you know that they have one of the tallest mountain, Mount Yogaga? Mount Yogaga, actually, it was one of the first mountain.
How do you call it?
Mount Yogaga.
Is it not Yogaga?
Yogaga, okay, from your language.
Yo is mountain, right?
Yeah, it's mountain.
So Gaga means tall.
So they say if you say Mount Yogaga, it's tautology.
It's tautology.
Yeah, Yogaga.
Yeah.
It's mountain.
Now,
like Afajato.
Like,
Uh-huh.
Now, Mount Gaga. Would you always
Yogaga. Okay, let's go.
Oh, Mount Yogi Dogi. Okay, so Kwame, I mean, and this one, you know that it was actually discovered. That mountain was discovered by the Ghanaian forces. I think was it the Navy, one of them, and on one of the expeditions or in the sea, and then they were lost, and they used the mountain to trace back their steps back to Ghana. And it's one of the tallest, actually.
But the people had always lived
Climbing.
Like they say Christopher Columbus discovered America.
Yes.
And climbing the mountain from down to top will take you like 1 hour, 30 minutes or 2 hours to get to hit you to the top. These are beautiful. But if you get there, the people, the natives, believe that is their farming zone. And they are almost depleted the entire forest that constitutes the whole mountain. And so the beauty, the kind of eco experience you are supposed to have when you visit. In fact, sometimes when you are driving to Akosomo, you see it. Yeah, the Shah area.
All right.
You see it the moment you cross the water area, the water service area. You see that is there. In the evening, if you take a picture, a good shot, it comes out like the face of a lion or eagle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, very beautiful mountain. And the community people don't believe that they are supposed to do anything to actually even protect it. In fact, if you go in there, now pastors have turned that place into their prayer zone.
Religious tourism.
And they've depleted. They are cutting down the trees and everything just to build tents in there and then collect tithe in the forest.
But isn't it also then comes back to the point that Madam Dzifa said about engaging the district assemblies, the municipal assemblies, to see how to properly, work with them to manage tourist sites. so that
because then it's from the people.
Yeah.
So it's community kind of based. So you
All
could
right.
go down to the level of management to the community side. I think sometimes when people see it as coming from the center, they don't quite identify with it much. So maybe this is a good point.
Let's see the communities and see, but I'm still doubtful.
And just in line with the ecotourism bit, was there ever any form of like a report or impact analysis of Galamsey on ecotourism to a certain extent, where we can say, okay, so the damage or the wahala caused in these various
Not
areas?
that I know of.
For
Not that I know of.
That we
Because
know of. We haven't seen
all
any
the reports I've
reports,
read on
but
tourism.
it's mostly news reports that see how
Yeah.
the water bodies are, getting destroyed and all that, and assume that because all water falls comes from somewhere. There's a source where the water comes
Sure.
from. All rivers that flow into the sea come from somewhere. So if where certain part is being destroyed with cyanide, and all that, you assume that it would affect the potential. But I agree. There must be some impact assessment done for us to know how this has affected ecotourism.
Good one there. Now let's listen to a point made on culture policy and the role of the Creative Arts Agency. Let's take a listen.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Congratulations, my dear sister. I call her Mama. Mama, oh Mama. And I want to say a big thank you to His Excellency for bringing you into your field. Congratulations, sis. My question, the cultural policy of Ghana was published in 2004 and spells out what has to be done. How are you planning to make it work to improve the fortunes of tourism in Ghana? And what is the role of the Creative Arts Council?
Thank you, Chairman, and thank you, Honorable Ritana Odolisua, MP for Lada de Kutupong. I'm grateful for the kind words. The cultural policy, I have briefing that some work has been done to review it. I think that it has received parliamentary approval, no, not parliamentary, presidential approval. It's gone to cabinet and I think is out. So they've done some work. I know a couple of the people who have committed their knowledge and expertise in reviewing the cultural policy. It's long overdue, and I'm happy that it's been done. The need for that policy really is, I think, the crux of the matter, because our tourism is hinged on our culture. One of our colleagues just mentioned that if you think of, for example, South Africa, you'll be thinking of safari. But for us, our strength is culture. And it's important that we take a second look at restructuring and realigning the laws that this ministry is going to be working with, make culture strong so tourism can benefit immensely from it. The Centers for National Culture have, over the years, played a huge part in the promotion, preservation, and conservation of our culture. It's been going down, and the revival of this policy document will help us re-strategize and make it better. The Creative Arts agency that has been formed, my understanding before we left office was that it was a multi-purpose vehicle, not an agency, but I see that now it is an agency. When I have the nod, I will take a critical look at the agency and its functions and see how best to make it work with the National Commission on Culture and, of course, the ministry as a whole. I thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, so 2 questions. The culture policy 2004, the first one or the old one, and how she's going to make sure it becomes functional. And then the second question was on the role of the Creative Arts Agency. Let me start with you, Robert Clark.
Okay, so for me, the first one, the policy, the cultural policy. Well, yeah, it's been reviewed. Yeah, fine. My challenge with that is that I think if it's possible, we need to dedicate
Robert,
another 1
do we
week
have
to
one?
it.
Yeah, we have cultural policy. We have a new one.
2004,
A new one.
and it was reviewed, and I think they tried to pass that into, like, you know,
So,
ratify it.
When we went for the last engagement,
Yes.
they told us they were sending it to the president.
Yes,
So
but
do
I
we have
don't.
one
I don't.
as we speak?
Yes, I have the drafts. It's not
So
the
the
final.
draft. So the question is the final. So my point is this.
So we don't have one yet.
Exactly.
No, but we have 2004.
Yes,
So
but it
the
is not
question
out yet.
Are you no? So my question is this: are you saying that when you have a document 2004 and you are reviewing it, then when the 2004 one all of a sudden is suspended?
No.
No. It's still
Until the
it's still
new
a
one
document.
Comes
Yeah.
it comes in. Yeah, so that the 2004 one still exists.
I agree.
And so we should
I
be
agree.
able to work with that. We can't say we are reviewing the constitution of Ghana, so therefore there's no constitution anymore.
Sure.
So that exists. Now the review, yes, it's been done, and I was at, I think, one of the meetings, and after that particular session there were submissions made because there were things we found out. Honestly, at some point it felt like it was being rushed, because I remember the last meeting we went to, it was about 4 to 5 hours, but the actual work that was done was about 1.5 hours.
Yeah.
The meeting was about 4 to 5 hours, but the actual work, the time dedicated to the project was like 1.5 hours
Yeah.
only. So I felt like it wasn't enough. And because I think the idea was trying to get it out there real quickly.
Election.
So because of that, the things that were supposed to have been tackled were not given enough time for tackling. So for me, if it's possible to visit that particular document again for another week, bring experts together and have conversation about it properly, just to be sure that everything in there made perfect sense, I'm happy with it. So for me, that's one aspect. That's an aspect that I think should be dealt with. The second one was what?
The role of the Creative Art Agency.
Yes, so there are overlaps. And again, I found challenges with this. I think there was a time I engaged the Frankie Five, who was working as number 2 for...
Please, are you assessing the Honorable Minister's performance? that is the focus, though.
Okay, so she mentioned... Okay. I think for me, what I remember, there was something that she said about restructuring and the fact that it had to be critically analyzed.
Okay, so the restructuring was something she said when she was asked to mention the various agencies under the ministry.
And then there was something about critically analyzing the creative arts.
But this particular question was about the role of the Creative Arts Agency.
Making promises that I cannot keep. I do not know what's in the kitty. So based on what will I make such promises? So I would plead with Chair to let this slide, because I do not have any promise to make, because...
Okay, for a moment, I just want to bring back the particular submission on the Creative Art Agency. That is what I want to play back again, so we take a listen to.
My understanding before we left office was that it was a multi-purpose vehicle, not an agency, but I see that now it is an agency. When I have the nod, I will take a critical look at the agency and its functions and see how best to make it work with the National Commission on Culture and of course the ministry as a whole. I thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, so this was her answer to the question about the role of the agency.
Good, yeah. But her point was that she was going to take a critical look, some form of review, and to see that it was going to work with the Commission on Culture.
No, but
right?
if you are asked what's the role of an agency, then you tell us, oh, it is a multifaceted. Is that the right answer?
Okay, so is it functional? That's my question.
The agency?
Yes.
No.
In its full capacity. So if somebody is going to review it and make sure it aligns with the cultural...
But in the first place, if you look at the Act 1048, it tells you what the agency is supposed to do. That's the role. Again, from the Act that you read, it tells you clearly it's supposed to regulate the industry, coordinate the industry. So if you tell me your answer to that is, oh, it is a multifaceted, you didn't answer the question. I don't know if So what she rather did was to assure us of what she's going to do to make it better, but the rule itself wasn't answered.
Oh, okay.
For example, what's the rule of the Commission on Culture? And you tell me, oh, so when I come, I will make sure I put my hand to the kitty. You're not answering the question.
Okay, I understand.
I wanted to, you understand where you're going, but I thought you were not assessing her performance. I think you were making suggestions.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Question next.
He had said he wanted to support her.
Sorry.
Most of the questions that Madam answered, I think that were more generalized. If you listen to her carefully in the vetting, she was very general with lots of the
answers.
Most of the answers were very general. Now, my issue with this particular creative art role, the question that you put is that I thought that before any minister will come for a vetting, any designate nominee will come for a vetting, I thought that the person will have a lot of briefing from the chief director for the ministry, because the chief director happens to be a civil servant,
Right.
and he or she has been there until total. So he is a technocrat, as they call them, the technical people. So the chief director will actually provide a proper dossier to Madam that this is the creative agency, this is the former president, this is the staffing, this is their challenges, this is their issues. If you go to GTA, this is their issues, this is what they've done. You come to FIPAC, you come to all the agencies under the ministry you are coming to head. Because I felt that, so that will allow Madam to also prepare herself to be able to come and answer some of these technical questions at the vetting. Because this role and this issue, it was not about, I was not expecting Madam to say, so I'm not expecting an I thought answer. I'm expecting a direct response to, if you look at the article, maybe, for example, the creative agency is a regulator. And 8 functions are A, B, C, D, X, Y, Z, with the functional president, vice president, with the staffing to be able to augment the activities of the ministry, so and so. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I mean, you should be able to enter detail, give us some proper technical details about it, because Madam is being with us. She has not traveled. And all our fightings and issues we've been dealing with. Yeah, all the issues we've been dealing with, she's been with us. She should know all the issues about the president, Jan Krumah, all these things, and who, all these things. She knows about all these things.
Taking that for granted.
You understand?
She should know.
Yeah, she should know. And these are things because we have the media. We have the microphone. We have the microphone, and every Saturday.
She also has a constituency.
Exactly.
Yes.
And she has a constituency. But every Saturday, at least if for nothing, I mean, Joy will give you exactly. Joy will give you
everywhere.
Everywhere you go, there's entertainment, and these issues are being discussed regularly. So the issue about creative art, I was not expecting Madam to go below the belt at all. She should have just, give it to Afenyo back to back in terms of it, because she herself is a member of us. So for me personally, I think that her answer and the manner to which the way she provided the answer was suggestive, and I was wondering what the kind of briefing she received before coming to the vetting, which I think that it was below the belt.
All right, Joy, 99.7 FM, Showbiz A to Z. I'm right in the studio with Kwesi Ernest, Francis Doku, Robert Clark, and Uncle Ken. On Zoom is Austin, the controversial Wood. Austin Wood. Hello, Austin.
Yeah, Kwame.
Yeah, so 2 questions on the cultural policy and the creative art agency. Your take?
Yeah, I think that on the cultural policy, we are
All right, John 99.7 FM. Austin Wood is on Zoom now. We are reconnecting with him. 055-1111-997. Yeah, that's our WhatsApp line. Austin, are you there? Hello, Austin.
I'm here, Kwame. Can you hear me?
We can hear you, but it appears we're having challenges with the internet.
Hello, Kwame.
Okay, we can hear you now.
Try again. I said, I believe really with question next, because I am thinking most of the questions and most of the answers to the questions were too generic. It is like keep this answer, but genuinely it might not be nice, because you see, with the cultural policy, I was expecting our minister. Because this is not somebody who is coming from outside. He's been a part of us. He was a former deputy. He's a member of parliament on the committee to educate the members of the committee, appointments committee, and Ghanaians about what the old cultural policy, what we intend to introduce in the new one, and what we want to achieve with it. Because if we right.
Okay, Joe 99.7 FM, we try to establish contact again with Austin Wood, and we have some your messages here. This one is from Emmanuel Pepra, and he says, I'm really enjoying the show. I'm excited about Honorable Dzifa Gomashie on the matter of restructuring some of the agencies under the ministry. Honestly speaking, there should be only 2 agencies under the ministry, which should be National Commission on Culture to focus on matters pertaining to art, culture, and creative, and then the Ghana Tourism Authority to handle tourism and hospitality matters, as NDC has promised to reset Ghana. The time is now for us to have a well-coordinated ministry. Doing the restructuring can bring numerous benefits, such as improved efficiency and effectiveness. By streamlining agencies, the ministries can eliminate redundancy functions, reduce bureaucratic hurdles, among others. Thank you very much, Emmanuel Pepra. All right, let me come to you, Uncle Ken. All right. Joy 99.7 FM. Let's get on to the next one, which is the hotel rates. Yes, so another question on hotel rates. Take a listen.
Thank you. Dzifa, Ghana has not been able to host major international conferences, and that is a source of revenue or income for most of our tourist facilities, the hotels, restaurants, bars, and what have you. And the answer is simple. We don't even have some of the best conferencing facilities here. We can't boast of 1,500 international or standard rooms in this country. We talk too much, but that's a fact. We can't boast of 1,500 top of the range rooms. If you go to Kempinski, I don't think they have more than 300 rooms. Movenpick, they don't have more than 250 rooms. Lancaster, they won't get you more than 250. Where again? Marriott. They can't, let alone conferencing facilities. That will bring a lot of people into this country and engage car rental companies and what have you. Secondly, our room rates, very expensive. So why won't your nationals go to South Africa, Gambia, Cote d'Ivoire, and other countries and explore? So what advice will you be giving to the finance minister to look into that area and rather bring down some of the taxes in the tourism sector to attract a lot more people and to raise some additional revenue for the country? What is your take on that, please?
Thank you very much, Chair, and you have hit the nail right on the head. This is an unending discussion, especially where the hotel rates are concerned. Even hotels that have franchise in other countries, ours tend to be very high comparatively. So I agree with you that the lack of infrastructure to meet the growing demands of the world and our country is there in our faces. Apart from engaging with the Minister for Finance, I think that everybody and anyone listening to me who has the wherewithal to engage with private sector in Ghana, out of Ghana, to ensure that we improve on our infrastructure capacity. You are welcome to engage with me after the vetting, and if I do get your nod, this is an issue that we must deal with. I agree with you that the lack of these facilities indeed take away from what could be revenue for our country. Taxes, taxes, taxes. It has been the cry of the hospitality industry from way back when I used to MC their events, and I was not even in the ministry as deputy minister. I've MC'd a lot of programs for this sector, and it is an issue that we must collectively deal with. I overheard the incoming Minister for Finance, Honorable Atufosin, saying that he has studied this economy so well, and he has a fair idea how he wants to help us as a country restructure it. I'll be tagging along him and lobbying him vigorously. And I know that you're an economic person as well. And since you identify this problem with me, you perhaps would want to join me to have these kinds of conversations with the finance people so they appreciate the enormity of the task ahead. I thank you, Chairman.
All right, so that was the Honorable Minister's answer to question on hotel rates and conferencing facilities. Let me start with Francis Doku.
Yeah, thank you. I think once again I must commend the Honorable Patrick Boerma for that question, because it's very, very germane to tourism aspirations as a destination. I mean, we're not very strong on MICE. One, because as he also mentioned, we don't have a very strong conferencing facility or international convention centers. But there's a way that we could use hotels to do that. For those countries that don't have, they use hotels as a means of stopgap means to get some of these things coming. So it's a very important question. And the minister's response, I think, was in three areas. One was that she would look at it. She would meet with the people in the sector and look at that. I think one key organization or association that would be very important for the minister is Dr. Akanyamike's Ghana Hotels Association. I think she would need to have an immediate meeting with them to have the conversation. And so they've always complained, as she said, that most of the costs of build up for hotels is taxes.
Yeah.
But I believe that if she meets with them, she would have some other view, understanding of what the situation is.
Sam, he was here. He also mentioned the economic conditions.
Conditions, yes.
So
and taxes and all that. Because it's very, Ghana is a very expensive destination when it comes to accommodation, and so you realize in the report, in the GTA report, that it's a lot of people are moving away from the traditional hotels to things like Airbnb, and all that. In the last report, even though accommodation is still the highest contributor to our tourism revenues because of the expensive activities, more are moving to other accommodation, facilities from the traditional hotels. So there's a very important response that is. The other one too was that she said she would speak with the finance minister, because at the end of the day, if it's taxes, it's finance that brings it to parliament, based on the government's what the government want to do at cabinet. So it's good that she says she will lobby the finance minister and see. But the most important thing is for her to have that conversation with the industry, for them to let her know what their issues are, because as she herself said, she's been away for 8 years. Things may have changed, and I mean, things have changed, we know. And so there's a need to properly apprise herself with some of the issues there. And the best way to do it, since she didn't get a right briefing, as Akwesi said, before the vetting.
Are we concluding she didn't get the right briefing?
Perhaps if perhaps perhaps we're not too sure. Perhaps, so it will be good that one of the first things she would do is to sit and properly understand, because it's very important. It's a very important part of why people would decide to either do domestic tourism or come to Ghana and not go to, say, Gambia or Cote d'Ivoire, because as a destination we're competing. And price is a very important a point of competition. And so we need to bring down the rates. But how do we do that? I think the minister would have to sit and properly understand the situation. So I think her response for this is okay. She also invited anybody who has the ability to support in building hotels, investing in hotels, and accommodation facilities, to come and have that conversation. I think the invitation aside, she as a leader will need to, put her foot and go and talk to these,
investors.
Investors. There are investors around the world who would want places where they want to invest. There are hotel chains. There have been conversation about hotel chains, the Hilton and others who wanted to come to Ghana, but there have been some difficulties. I think she would have to understand what the situations are, and then see how to help solve them. So we can have, that as Honorable Boama said, we will not have 1,500 accommodation available immediately if there's a conference that will take that many people. Yeah. But we need to find a way to expand our hotel and also look at the prices.
Thank you, Francis Doku. This one says, I think Madame Abla Dzifa Gomashie is capable, and we should be rest assured that she's going to deliver for sure. I also think she did better answering the questions. Gabriel K. done so in Dowenya. And this one says, tell Uncle Ken. Lucky Dube said, better be done and be happy than be with somebody and be unhappy all of your life. William says,
better be what?
Rastafari!
No, what did you say? Better be what?
Be alone.
He said better be done.
But let me read again. Better be alone and be happy than be with someone and be unhappy all of your life. Rastafari. From William Cecil.
Quick one, just to add to Francis' submission.
No,
okay.
Before I come to you, let me do Uncle Ken, because somebody is giving shots here. I'll come to you, Robert.
Yes, I thank him for believing in that it's better to be happy alone.
Yeah, man.
Yes. It's important. You simply have to love yourself.
Exactly.
Otherwise, no way.
All right.
Kwame,
yes. The room rates.
The room rates, very important discussion. I don't want to spend too much time, because I don't know if you're going to come back to us for our final comments on it, because I have an issue that I want to raise. But yes, I'll reserve that and say that everybody has complained about the rates of accommodation in our country. And the people who run these hotels and what have you tell us it's because of the taxes that governments demand from them. So there has to be a serious conversation to see if we can lower the taxes on this. So we see if these people will lower their rates too. But unfortunately, in this country, taxes could be lowered, but people who run these organizations will not lower their rates.
They'll say they want to recoup what they've lost.
They'll tell you they want to recoup what they've lost and that. So I am all for a conversation about reducing taxes.
Great.
Because it will help boost tourism.
Mr. Clark.
Yeah, so for me, the conversation should go beyond, a little beyond the taxes aspects, because most of these folks charge in dollars, and charging in dollars or pegging your values at dollars, what happens is that every depreciation of your cedi basically increases the cost, the amount of money you're supposed to spend on these. So the conversation has to be a bit broader, so that we know what it means.
But you see, everybody pegs their hotel accommodation in dollar. I mean, for instance, if you're in South Africa, you'll be paying maybe up to $100 or $50 for a decent accommodation.
That even in Dubai.
You know, yeah.
Even in Dubai.
So it's still dollar, but converted.
Yes,
you know.
so but what happens with this is that local or domestic tourism is not supported, because what happens is that we here find it difficult to afford, and then those who are coming out from outside have it being cheaper because of the depreciation of the city.
Sure.
So if you want to,
so also have to talk about the exchange rate
exactly and all of that in that particular space.
Yeah, sure.
You know? And then maybe while at it, they should also clearly establish what is a hotel and what is a motel and what is an inn and what because sometimes you see what people are calling hotel, but you see what people are calling hotel. You say this in their challenge.
You will know from the charges.
Okay.
The charges will tell.
With these room rate issues, I think that the Hoteliers Association has something to do with this.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking that if Madam maybe when she settles in with a briefing she can have a proper conversation with the Hoteliers Association to look at how these prices can be reviewed. Because as of today, we are having rooms. Some rooms are $600 a night, some $700 a night. And even the funny part of it, the Airbnb people now, you know that now the Airbnb people too are joining in with exorbitant prices, where we have nights going for $300 per night for Airbnb, and then even some to $500 a night. In this our small economy, we find ourselves. So if really we are people that mean business in terms of tourism, and we have a proper actions to connect with our body language, then of course it will be important to review what we are charging. Because even if we the citizens, let's take it that we are not even expecting visitors, and we the citizens, we are supposed to patronize some of these hotels, you ask yourself, when would Robert get money to go and pay $600 for a room, even if he wants to have a night with his wife, change the environment? You understand? Because sometimes we are supposed to change the environment. When you'll be tired of your regular bed, you need to move out somewhere and then at least experience some beautiful moment. So I'm thinking that it should be a proper conversation. The industry people must come vis-a-vis cost of investment running a hotel now. From some people are actually doing diesel 24 hours. Some people are doing diesel 24 hours, and fuel is running high cost. So the aspect of taxation and taxes, is from the top. From fuel, from logistics, from welfare to everything. In fact, we need to also look at, we need to look at services that some of these hotels are actually offering. After paying this $600, $500, you will go and meet some pillowcase which has been used for 1957.
I think that's a topic that we need to come back. Yeah, we need to come back to address this particular topic. It's a very big one. Yeah, a very, very big one. Sure.
1957
you see how we've tackled this, but we've moved a little bit away into giving our own impression about the experience in the hotel, the fact that the rates are high. You prevented me from giving that when it came to the assessment of the critically analyzing the creative arts industry.
We've moved on. We've moved on.
I'm just stating.
I'm sorry about that. John 99.7 FM. Robert, we will come again and do that. Sorry about that. John 99.7 FM. We're back after this.
Are you ready to get way more chances to win with Betway? Every single day, you have the key to unlock 5 free spins on Mega Money Wheel, where you stand to win a massive 1 million Ghana cedis jackpot. All you need to do is to log in and take your spin. Exclusive to Betway. Terms and conditions apply. Regulated by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Bet the responsible way. Betway. Get way more.
If home is where the heart is, then let's go home. Shall we? Let's go where the entertainment is. Where the passion is. Where the laughter is. And sometimes even the tears too. Let's go where we feel safe enough to share our opinions.
And send tweets.
Where we do that embarrassing little dance to our favorite song. Let's go home where the love, the care, and the joy live.
There's no place like home. Connect your home to super fast internet with affordable data bundles from MTN Home. Visit broadband.mtn.com.gh or your My MTN app to sign up today. MTN.
Want more money, more moolah, more kudi, more sika, or more l'argent?
Yes!
Then win more moolah with 30 Ghana Cedis free credit when you play Game Park's Pick 1 and Pick 4 games for the first time.
How?
Just dial *946#, get your first bet, and win on us with a 30 Ghana Cedi welcome bonus.
Oh, yes. It's all about the moolah.
Win more moolah with Game Park today. Go to GameParkGames.com for more information. Game Park is licensed by the NLA. Play responsibly. Not suitable for persons under 18 years.
Look, the only thing where they come close to how awesome Showmax Entertainment Day, it be how easy it is to get to. It gets Chow payment options, MTN Momo, Visa, then MasterCard. Just visit showmax.com to sign up, pay, and start streaming. It be easy, cra. You fit stream all local and international series, movies, kids shows, and the Premier League anytime. No wahala, only Chow hours of watching. Showmax make everything easy. Visit showmax.com to sign up today. Showmax, streaming for Ghana.
Joy 99.7 FM.
So right here on Joy 99.7 FM, Showbiz A to Z. My name is Kwame Dadzie. Still here with the panel. We have Kwesi Ernest, Francis Doku, Robert Clark, Uncle Ken, and Austin Wood. Now, my people, Thursdays are now special on MTN. Yes, your Thursdays just got more exciting because from now on you get a nice 25% discount on your first data bundle purchase of the day when you bundle on my MTN app or use *138#. This and every Thursday on MTN. MTN is saying that's not enough for a lovely customer like you, so they are offering a free extra movie ticket when you pay with Momo at the Silverbet Cinemas, at the Accra and West Hills malls. And for those of you wonderful people in Gomashie, you get free tickets at the Golden Cinemas in the Gomashie Mall. If you ask me, I think your movie dates are sorted from now on. So set your reminders bundle on my MTN or *138# and make the best of 25% first data bundle discount, and then go to the cinemas, use Momo, and get your free extra movie tickets on MTN's Yellow Thursday. Charlie, the enjoyment is real. From January to June 2025, Enterprise Insurance is giving you more reasons to smile on the road. Buy or renew your existing motor insurance policy and enjoy amazing rewards. Free fuel coupons for your car and airtime for your phone. With over 100 years of trusted experience, we're here to secure your peace of mind. Just go to any branch, connect with your insurance agent or broker, or use the Enterprise Advantage app for your convenience and enjoy free fuel coupons and airtime when you buy or renew your motor insurance. Enterprise Insurance is rated AAA by the GCR for financial strength and claims by paying ability. Holiday Inn has this information for you. They're now called Palms by Eagles, and they're offering a fresh, delightful experience. The newly improved hotel is ready to welcome you with unmatched hospitality in the heart of Ghana. So don't miss their branch on Sundays and experience elevated hospitality like never before at Palms by Eagles. Now, are you ready to get way more chances to win with Betway? Every single day you have the key to unlock 5 free spins on Mega Money Wheel, where you stand the chance to win a massive 1 million Ghana cedis jackpot. What are you waiting for? Log into betway.com.ga today and make your spin, all thanks to Betway. Tomorrow is a Sunday. The Pentecost Hour will be coming your way with the chairman, Apostle Eric Nyameche. It's also live on Hits FM Mondays 5:30 a.m., Joy Prime Saturdays 7 a.m., So tune in Sundays, Mondays, Saturdays for Pentecost Hour. Joe 99.7, we're back in here, coming to wrap up. I take your final words, and then you rate Honorable Abla Dzifa Gomashie's performance at the vetting. Let me start with Austin Wood. Austin.
Yeah, Kwame, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now. So, Austin, this is what we're doing with you. Let me give you 2 minutes or 3 minutes. 3 minutes to just wrap up everything that you have now, and then rate Honorable Dzifa Gomashie's vetting on a scale of 0 to 10.
Okay, so on the discussion you were having on hotel costs and all that, if you look at the GTA report from 2023 that Francis was talking about, if you look at occupancy rate for upmarket hotels, I think it is doing well, because pre-pandemic level 2019 5-star hotels was 66%. In 2023, it moved up to 71%. 4-star hotel pre-pandemic 2019 was 59. It dropped to 50. But if you check 2020, because of COVID, was 38. 2021, 42. 2022, 45. So the 50 in 2023 was getting up to there. But I don't know. With this, people are not happy with the pricing. The GTA data does not support that. Because when they asked tourists who came to Ghana how expensive accommodation was, 39% said it was expensive. 18% said it was normal comparative to other places. But 43% said that it was less expensive. When they talk about satisfaction with, because questioners raised issues of hotel things not being right, not
services.
Well, bed sheets bad, services. 78% said excellent services from Ghanaian hotels in 2023. It is just 2% who said it was poor. So I don't know if how GTA comes up with this data, but people are questioners who travels across the length and breadth of Ghana is saying that sometimes he goes for short time somewhere and the bed sheet is not good enough. Also, Accra is not Ghana. I would want to put that out, because the GTA report says before December in GH for 2023, if you look at single rooms, it was going for Accra and Tema 2,070 Ghana cedis. Then during December, it was 2,100, a 6% increase. For double room, a 7% increase. It's for the suite, which was a 34% increase. And the report tells us why that happened. So we need to go drill down and
Good
look at why
one
it
there.
happened.
Austin, you have 1 minute more.
Yeah, but in Takrade, rooms were cheaper. The prices were cheaper comparative to before December in GH and during December in GH. So we should look at all that. For me, I think she did well. The questions were brilliant from a lot of the appointment committee members. She gave generic answers, but these are just formalities. She's going to do the job at the ministry, hands-on. The focus has always been on tourism. I think she should bring attention also to creative arts and culture as well. We wish her well. We'll be here. Stakeholder engagement is very key. So if she or herself or her people are listening, stakeholder engagement of the creative arts and tourism.
On a scale of 0 to 10, important. How are you rating her?
I'll give her a 6.
Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you, Austin. Let me come to Uncle Ken. Yes. Uncle Ken.
Kwame,
yeah.
I had so much to say, but you need time.
Oh, bet you 2 minutes. And I
want to zero in back to the funds.
Okay.
Which is what a lot of practitioners think is their way to, glory. But the issue of the funds does not start with the Creative Arts Fund. Don't forget that the NFA was established in 2016. Act 935 was established in 2015. 2016, sorry. It was in 2016, just before the NDC left power in 2016. It is the NPP who came into power and put the that act into practice. with the NFA board and what have you. There is also a fund, a film fund, to be established, which as we speak has not. As we speak has not. And so I said to myself, we always talk about funds for the creative arts, for the film industry and all that, and yet we do not establish these funds. I just want people to know that when we talk about the fund, it is not only going to come from government, and that there are sources. For the film fund in particular, the sources are grants and loans, donations, periodic contributions to be agreed by the board from individual film production houses, charges on services rendered by the authority, which include classification. Okay?
Yeah.
Because you get a lot of resources from classification, which has not been happening as we speak today.
But you're a member of the classification?
No, I'm not.
He's not. he left the cinematography board a long time ago. Exhibition and cinematography.
Funds from the organization of special events and other activities organized by the authority. All I want to say is the law tells us how we can raise money.
True.
Okay? So if we do not go by the law, how are we going to raise the monies? And people sitting outside are thinking that, there's supposed to be a film fund. So everybody is eager for that fund to be established, forgetting that they are part and parcel of who the fund requires to raise money.
Okay.
So we need to take our time.
Good.
Manage our expectations. Go into the law. Every single person should go into the law. Read the law and know how things are supposed to happen before you blame anybody in authority for not doing what he or she is supposed to do.
Wonderful. Now your rating on a scale of 0 to 10.
I agree with Francis. I'll give a 6.
No, Francis didn't give Austin.
Austin
gave 6.
I'll give a 6.
Okay. Yeah. Let me come to Robert. Start with the rating before your final remarks.
I'll if you want me to rate first,
yes.
No, if you want me to rate as before, so mine is actually very different. There's a popular saying that says that the customer is the one who defines a job well done.
Okay.
So for as long as she's been given the nod, I think that there's an actually satisfaction given. So the rating has been established by the fact that she's been given the nod.
Then we shouldn't come here and talk.
No, so she's been given the nod. You can choose how you want to address your own.
No, I think the whole should compel you to
give a figure
on a scale of 0 to 10.
Exactly.
Where do you stand?
I think
where does she stand?
That's what I'm saying. The customer has defined it. Yeah,
your final remarks. Your final remarks.
So coward. Can we go ahead? All right. So it's for me the fact that
I didn't know Robert was a coward.
What is it? What's there about this?
Robert, please go on. Robert, please go on. Robert, please go on. Your time is going, please. Let's go.
All right. So first of all, I think that answers have been given. Indeed, we've moved on. She's actually, been given the nod. What is important for us now to focus on, I think 4 key areas. For me, first of all, is management. There are a lot of agencies, and we need to be able to manage them properly. Yeah. Manage whatever we have and make value, make revenue, generate revenue out of all of these things while managing her other portfolio in terms of being an MP. So management is key. We need the heavy strength of leadership, and by this, I'm not referring to what exists in terms of managing, but rather taking us to where the vision is supposed to be, in line with the entire Black Star experience, in line with the manifesto that has been read, in line with whatever vision that she can couch for this particular industry, and that has to happen. And then accountability in terms of the agencies. We need to be able to get that also coming through. It's important. And the last part is execution. We need to be able to execute enough. These are my specific areas that I think that we need to be able to expect from this particular administration.
Awesome. Thank you, Mr. Clark. Let me do questions before I come to Francis. What's the next?
Come in.
Yeah.
I think that
start with your rating on a scale of 0 to 10.
I'll give Madam 6.
6.
I'll give Madam 6, between 6 and 7.
What's in crowd? What's it? My president? Okay, sorry.
Please go on. Yeah, my man is 6. Yeah, you know.
Okay,
but this is what I think.
All right.
If you look at the tourism creative art ministry, there's nothing much of a problem when it comes to the tourism aspect.
Hey, they have
in terms of
it's okay.
No, don't say there's not.
I didn't say there's not. I'm saying that there's
not much.
Not much, because
okay.
they are well
compared to the other.
Compared to the creative art.
Okay.
They are well structured. They have their tourism levy fund. The tourism levy is ongoing. They have a whole GTA secretariat managing a lot of things. But when you come to the creative art, there's so much of rot. Our agencies, all of them are struggling. From Gamro, Musica, everywhere. All the agencies under the creative art are all struggling. How many years? Check Musica. They went to court for almost 6 years. Before finally they were able to even...
It's an association. It's a union.
It's an association.
Yes.
But I'm saying that all of them, they come
associations under okay.
Yeah, associations under the creative art.
All groups.
Yeah, groups under the. And so you need to try as much as to bring all these people together and then fine tune them, shape them. Because you see, the truth is, if you look at the struggles the creative agency has been, we've suffered so much over the last 8 years. Anybody that comes, we put people in there. I mean, look at it. Somebody comes to us and says, my daughter should go and be the president, whether we like it or not. And then the person comes.
Who is that somebody?
Jan Krum I'm talking about. She comes in there and do anything that she wants. And then because she's president daughter, do anything that she wants to do. And then a lot of things have happened with the creative. And we've suffered a lot. We don't want that repetition.
Good.
We want people who are qualified and expert, who can give us something proper for the creative to grow. We don't want to be seen as unserious people.
Thank you.
Because you can't do that with the Ghana Bar Association. You can't do that with the Banking Society.
We are very serious.
We are very
serious. Let me bring in
people.
Francis Doku.
So I think this week marked the end of Akwesi Ajima's tenure
as
CEO of the Ghana Tourism Authority.
Yeah.
And I think that Akwesi, and the team did a very good job.
Okay.
Thankfully, Ghana has become very attractive in a global space. I think Madam Dzifa's responsibility and whoever is appointed as head of GTA will be to continue, in my view, from where Akwesi left off. There are a lot of things that we need to do. Things like there's a visa issue that we need to address. There are things like MICE issues that we need to address. Make Ghana a destination for meetings, incentives, conferences, and exhibitions.
Wonderful.
There's a lot to be got from that, and I believe that should be one of the focus.
Your rating?
My rating is 6.5.
6.5. All right. Thank you very much. John 99.7 FM. My name is Kwame Dadzie. Thank you so much for listening to Showbiz A to Z. Yes, we are back same time next week.